Welcome to our playthrough of Pericles, the Peloponnesian Wars, and we are still in turn 1. We are actually at the end of the theater resolution, and now we're basically doing a little cleanup, and we'll do a little after action before moving on to turn 2. Let's dive right in, and the first thing that happens after all the theater issues are resolved is we do what is known as the political capital bonus honor point phase, and that all that says is when you, from the leftover strategoses that you didn't, strategoi I guess is how you would say it, plural there, what's the plural on that, is for every 4 you'll get an honor point. And so we see the Agiad. Everyone actually is going to get an honor point except for me. I'm actually going to get 2. I actually saved a whole bunch of those strategos tokens. So to our score here, all these guys get 1. I got to double check the score. I may have knocked a counter loose, but I'll double check that later. And up here, I will get to 1, 2. Okay. Also, we check for what is known, what I was doing earlier, or the bot was doing earlier, was doing the Peace of Callias. And here's where we check that. And basically, if there is a Delian League base here, I can invoke the Peace of Callias, which we are going to do. And when we do that, we immediately eliminate the base and a Navy unit anywhere on the board, but naturally we would choose the one in here because it's not doing us any good. And then we get our little counter. Place that in there, and the war with Persia is over, and the effect of that is no units from either side may enter or issue or put issues in this Eastern Mediterranean theater for any reason for the remainder of the game. And that's basically it. Now, if we had not done that, the controlling faction of Athens would lose honor equal to the number of the game turn of the scenario. So you can see how that adds up really fast. Having finished that, we then move to the maintenance phase, and that is making sure we have enough bases on the map to cover all the units. And this is why we use these little cylinders over here. And we count up the number of bases, and this just tracks the number of bases on the sheet. And here, interestingly enough, the Spartans converted a base, so they actually go up to 6 bases on the map. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Whereas we lost 2. We go down by 2. Now, what does this mean? This means that basically on the map, ground units and naval units, you can have up to 4 times the number of bases you have. So the Spartans, in this case, would have 24 because they have 6 bases. And the way you count up whether you can keep it all maintained is land units are worth 1 and naval units are worth 2. And now I've already counted this up, and it ends up being 26. So we're actually 2 over the amount. So the Spartans would have to eliminate 1 or 2 land units or 1 Navy unit. And since Navy is really not part of the strategy this early in the game, we're going to go ahead and eliminate that 1 Spartan there. That makes the most sense. Now here's an interesting thing, is we lost 2 bases. 8 times 4 is 32, and I went and added all this up, and it is exactly 32. We can always add more units, but we may lose them at the end of turn 2, but we're good for now. We're just barely good. Okay, that is the maintenance segment. That's all you do in that. Then we come to the redeployment segment. This is where the movement rules are suspended. Anything that can be redeployed is fine. You don't have to worry about these routes. You just redeploy as you want. The main thing is that units are in places with bases, with one exception. You can always keep 1 unit in a space without a base. So this one up here, even though there's no base for him, he can stay. And that's kind of a key to expanding and things like that. Everyone else, Spartan units can only redeploy to spaces with Spartan bases. Likewise, Peloponnesian League units can only deploy to yellow bases. Same with Delian League, they can only move or redeploy to white bases, but the Athenians have an exception. They can redeploy either to Athenian bases or Dealing League white bases. The Spartans really don't have any need to redeploy, so we're not going to do anything with them. The Athenians, however, as me and I do get to choose, or let me see here. But as far as redeployment, what I can do, and the rule doesn't specify whether the controlling faction or it's just one guy or another decides how to do it. I can redeploy. And I'm seriously thinking of going up there to Naupactus and maybe making a run at that Spartan. I think I will. So, boom, right here. Nothing happens, of course. We have to have military issues if we can do anything about it. Okay, but that is basically the redeployment segment. And finally, that is the end of the turn. By after action, I gotta say, of course, I got beaten terribly in the debate section over here. And even on the theater phase, the Spartans did very well as bots. They were able to knock us down by 2 bases. And they didn't get a whole lot of honor out of that. But, you know, they got us in trouble. Our movement is severely restricted because of that now. And it's going to be interesting to see how we're going to recover from that. Also, we need to implement what's known as the Suicide of Greece rules. And there's a bunch of things where it factors in the battles. If something happens in the plague, there's like permanent losses of units that are no longer in the game. But also, every turn that there's a war, we're at war, at the end of the turn, we are going to lose, both sides are going to lose 1 Strategos token. So, over time, if we are constantly at a state of war, you can see that our ability to keep fighting that war gets more difficult as time goes on. Okay, that is it. I did, however, catch an error from the previous video that I've just kind of edited. And first of all, I was bumped over 1. He was actually here. And also, when that base converted, the controlling faction loses 2. I was not the controlling faction. He was. So it's actually him that loses 2 points. And so up here, I get those 2 points back. All right. That's it.